What's going on, Cancer? And welcome to the Chariot Friends. Justin here, and I hope you're feeling great today. So, for those of you who are returning, welcome back, Soul Tribe. I appreciate your subscriptions, your likes, and shares. Your support really is just amazing, Cancer, and it keeps us growing. And for those of you who are new, welcome. I'm happy Higher Self has brought you here. We are in for an amazing journey. So the purpose of this channel, for those of you who have Cancer in your placement, Sun, Moon, Rising, Mars, wherever, Cancer, this one's for you. And I do tarot card spreads based off our ruler here, the good old Moon. And I'll talk about what sign she's in, what phase she's in, and when she's going void, of course, just all of those lunar shenanigans. And just so you're all aware, this is a general reading, not a one-to-one. So take what resonates with you, leave the rest with me. Never force a reading on a situation, and everything will be fantastic, Cancer. Now, let's jump into it. Your space has been cleansed. Gems, feeling lovely. Just great energy all around here, Cancer. So, Cancer, the moon is still just hanging out in Aries just for another day. And with the moon being in Aries, you might notice that you might be feeling a little more passionate at this time, a little more impulsive. But Aries energy is great, though, if you've been missing that spark of like motivation or inspiration, or even if you've been feeling in a state of like lack of self-confidence. Aries energy is great for improving. It's great for on working on those aspects of yourself, Cancer. What ways can we feel a little more confident, feel a little more bold? What a great thing to think about going into the next lunar cycle, And also, Aries energy is very much, they're a determined sign. When they set out to do something, they're the types, they're going to get it done. So this is something to Cancer, be mindful of when we're going through just any of the stuff through the lunar cycles. It takes that determination, that perseverance. But when you do that, though, man, it's totally worth it in the long run, especially when we're thinking about self-improvement, because Aries, they live in the first house, ruled by Mars. And the first house has to deal with yourself, and that aspect of life and how you view yourself on this journey. So Aries energy really is just, work with this energy, be and feel confident in this at this time. I'm really just always, Cancer. And then with the moon being in a waning crescent phase or a balsamic moon, this is a great energy for self-care and for just kind of recuperating and relaxing. Because, working, when you think about Aries energy, it is very much kind of like go, go, go. And, especially when we're working on new routines, making sure to take those times and pause, reflect, recuperate, rejuvenate your energies, because it's a lot, trying to, when we let something go and then incorporate a new routine. So, but this is also great for, some deep breathing and, reconnecting with yourself. And, too, with Venus being in our sign, I'm gonna really be harping on that. As long as Venus is chilling in there, great time, self-care all day, every day, Cancer. Just let this be just a sabbatical. But, last couple of things. These readings that I do, they're not gender-specific readings, so apply these energies to people as they make sense for your situations. And then the decks that I'm working with, I've included links for them down in the description box below, so definitely check that out if you're interested there, Cancer. Oh, Cancer. All right, for our general energy of the day, we have the 7th card of Pisces, which is the baggage card. And with this card, this is a card of excess, unresolved issues, held together, preparedness, pack rat, fearing separation, heavy burdens, responsibility, necessity, prepared to go, next phase, and long journey. In Cancer, just thinking about this more like in like that pack rat sense, considering Venus is in our sign. And when you think about, the moon and us, we're involved with the 4th house, and that deals with like our home space, our family deals with roots and things. But where I'm getting with that is, how's your home space looking? Just in general, if we've noticed there's a lot of clutter that's going on in our in our space, in our safe space, you know, in our calm space, then that's something we want to get cleared up, Cancer. Because, and you know, not to say that that's always the case, Cancer, but if things happen to be in disarray, that can be in external reflection of what could possibly be going on within, Cancer. So if we haven't been paying attention to yourself in here, just kind of be looking in your environment. If things have been feeling, you know, things are looking chaotic, let's check to make sure things aren't feeling chaotic as well, you know, because I can get where it's one thing for like our place to feel kind of lived in, you know, that's one thing. But when it's just like where you can hardly move around, you know, and there's no kind, you know, we want to be mindful of that. And two, Cancer, when you do that kind of that spring cleaning, that decluttering, you think how appropriate with Aries energy, who they bring the spring, you know, maybe that's something we might want to do with this energy, Cancer, because that's a good way to recuperate too, you know, doing some cleaning up, you know, maybe if you've been thinking about, well, as you're making space, you know, maybe you realize like, oh, I have this whole room here. Maybe I want to paint this area up, or maybe there's some stuff you want to do out in the yard, Cancer, or great energy for this, you know, with Venus being on our sign for just doing any sort of decluttering, physical or or emotional, Cancer as well. But also feeling like with this energy, Venus is a very creative sign as well. She's very artistic, you know, she rules, you know, both Taurus and Libra, you know, they're both very creative signs. And just thinking about that next phase, you know, Cancer, and in this long journey that we're on, you know, what are we creating? You know, what type of things are, yeah, really, that's the kind of feeling I'm getting. What kind of things are we creating, and what are we manifesting in this journey? You know, how are we going into these phases? You know, and just I feel like, you know, just making sure that you're going with intentions as well. But let's get some tarot on this and see how we can work with this energy, Cancer. Interesting. Okay, so we have Temperance here. Oh, we got gems there. Hold on. Let's see. Interesting, Cancer. Okay, so you have the Queen of Swords, the Ace of Swords, and then we have the Temperance card. And you know what, Cancer? That makes a lot of sense, or at least it will. When we start, if we have like unresolved issues, or we have baggage that we're carrying, or if we've been, you know, carrying some heavy burdens, anything along those lines, Cancer, I feel like this baggage card, and honestly too, just thinking, I know I mentioned this, but with Saturn being in Pisces, this is a great time for journeying within, thinking about this stuff, you know, getting these internal answers. When these questions come up, let me start here. Let me start with the Ace of Swords, because the Ace of Swords can be like those thoughts that are popping up when we're realizing like, oh man, my space, it has kind of suffered here, or maybe I haven't had time to move the body here, you know. When we realize that there may be some issues that might need our attention, Queen of Swords, she's the type that this is Libra's card, talk about the Empress, and when the Queen of Swords becomes aware that there's something that is holding us down, that's keeping us from progressing to that next phase, because when we hold on to baggage, that makes moving on a lot more difficult, Cancer. When she realizes that, she rules the first two decans of Libra and the last of Virgos. She's going to make it her mission to get back in harmony, a routine. You know what I mean? When you think about that, balancing that Libra and that Virgo energy, she's going to do whatever it takes to get that equilibrium back, you know, that temperance, to get to that Zen space again. But Cancer, if we leave these issues in you know, push them on the back burner and leave them resolved, it's, you know, you got to face this stuff at some point, and it may not feel ideal at first, but when you do start tackling these, whatever these unresolved issues, anything along those lines that we might be fearing, because even when I think about fearing of separation, sometimes we ignore problems, not because we want to stay in that energy, because sometimes when we're in that energy for a long time, when we know that we can move on, sometimes it's that fear of like, well, crap, I've been in this space for so long. How do I operate out of that? We almost are afraid to get better because then we're not even sure what that means. We have to recalibrate. And that's not a judgment, Cancer. You know you're in a safe space. It's just like, it's just an observation. You know, sometimes those things been there, Cancer, but we grow from that. And it's just like, then when we get eyes on that, we show ourselves some compassion, and then we take those steps towards growth, because the Temperance card, this is Sagittarius's card, and they're all about growth, expansion, ruled by Jupiter. And it's all for the better, Cancer, because when we do focus on that, then we start feeling optimistic again, and just all of that. So, and you know how I've always been talking about this, you know, your thoughts, when we think about, just got some strong swords coming out the back here with this unresolved, with this baggage here. Thoughts become things. And you know, the Ace of Swords, it's a double-edged sword where, sure, we may know about an issue, but it's just like, how are we swinging it? Are we using it as, are we facing the issue, or are we using the sword at our detriment? You know, are we stabbing ourselves, you know, and kind of keep ourselves down? So just something to be mindful of, Cancer. All right, let's get some more on this. All right, Cancer. Oh, okay. So you got the Knight of Swords, you have the Four of Coins, and then you have the Judgment card here. And so, yeah, so racking up some strong swords here stuff, Cancer. But the thing with the Knight of Swords is, again, just like the Queen of Swords, when he gets eyes on this stuff here, he's going to put in this work. He's going to figure out some ways that we can get our sense of security back again, get to feeling that we're back whole, that we're back stable, that everything is our foundation is fine. But once we realize this stuff, Cancer, it's one thing to, it's another thing to know this thing, but it's another that when we need to take action. Because here's the thing, I kind of like this Judgment card. It's like, do we want to stay in this space? Like, you know how I was saying we can get kind of stuck here? Or do we want to put in that work, kind of push out this, whatever this clutter is? I like that. This rabbit's almost like decluttering his space. Do we want to push out some of this space here and start leveling up and start growing, start resolving some of this stuff here? Because Cancer, when you do face this stuff too, whatever this baggage is or things that might be holding you down, it does show you, it gives, talk about Aries energy, I feel like there's nothing more fulfilling than knowing that you resolved something that you did. And it's fine too, Cancer. Just even thinking how you got a Queen of Swords, Knight of Swords. If we need even some assistance with this, maybe this is something we need to work these ideas out with someone. You know, you need a sounding board. Absolutely, Cancer. But don't just stay in that place of just stuck, you know, and just stagnant. We want to be very, very mindful of that, you know, just always. But just, you know, give me through, let's say the next 6 months, Cancer, you know, let's just give me that to the next set of to the next lunar eclipse. Let's do that. All right, Cancer. Let's see what are going to be some challenges when working with this energy. Okay. So you got the Page of Wands here. And then we have the Eight of Cups. Okay. And with this energy, Cancer, I mean, absolutely. A challenge. I mean, just when we get eyes on this stuff, it's just the letting go part of it. You know, that's the whole, that can be exhausting in itself. Just even getting let me tell you something, Cancer. I'm even thinking about for this next lunar cycle. I made a list of things that I want to start thinking about. How am I letting go, and then what am I going to incorporate in that? Well, I at least got what I'm going to let go. But this next one in particular, honestly, the next couple, I'm doing some, ultimately is going to raise the vibration, but it can be tough when you think about these things. You know, this next lunar cycle, like I'm not like I'm pumped with what growth is going to happen, but the initial is going to be it'll be a bit tricky at first. And that's the thing, Cancer. Eight of Cups can be tricky, but in order to keep that, to find that balance to where, because if we just let go all the time and there's nothing to sub in that space, I feel like that's what makes the relapse happen, you know, for us to take, you know, go one step forward and two steps back. You know, Page of Wands, he's the type that in this stuff, you know, realizing that when we're making this space, it can feel a little lonely sometimes too. Like, you know, like lonely in the sense of just like it's just like we're recalibrating, Cancer, is what I feel like. And in order to, I feel like, to just like to just make that transition a lot smoother, filling in some space, you know, whether, let's say, for example, we're quitting smoking, you know, maybe we're picking up juggling instead. Or, you know, the thing is, people say, you know, sometimes it's like, you know, maybe working out or just finding something, you know, if you find something to replace that, I feel like you're less likely to fall back than if you just kind of quit a cold turkey. And it's not to say whatever it is that you're doing, Cancer, that you can't do it cold turkey. Honestly, that's how, after trial and error, that's how I ended up quitting. But try not to make these issues a lot harder than they need to be, Cancer. This letting go, we don't have to, it maybe do it in pieces, you know, like maybe start small. Maybe if this is like my easiest example I can think of, this is like a drinking thing, you know, like let's say if we drink every day, then let's start, maybe we're going to stop drinking on Monday and then just do that for a lunar cycle. Dope. And then what are we filling that with? We'll find something to fill that with, Cancer. And then, you know, cut down to 2 days and then 3 days, and then until you're feeling good, Cancer, until you're feeling like things are in a balanced place, until we, you know, now that we found moderation, you know, that we found, so, you know, because that's what the Temperance is about. You know, really it's about finding that equilibrium, that so that we're not overindulging, because after the Temperance card is the Devil. So we want to be balanced, because here's the thing, when we let go of this stuff, higher self has a tricky way of, and it is not to keep us down, Cancer. It's just to check in to see how we're doing with this stuff. When we let go, let's say, of drinking, we might be good for a while, but then we may get invited to a party by a friend, and then someone happens to bring some drinks over, and everyone else is, you know, having a good time. How are you holding up, Cancer? Those type of moments too. We want to make sure, what tools do we have to deal with this? How's our willpower? How's our strength? You know. So be thinking about, set yourself up for success, Cancer, with these lunar cycles, and don't beat yourself up if we can't tackle this, if we can't just tackle it all at once. You know, let's hit them up. Let's break these suitcases in chunks here. Make these energies work for you. That's the whole point of this journey here, Cancer. I like that. So yeah, let's try not to make something more of a burden than this is. Because listen, Cancer, you even just thinking with the Four of Coins, and we're going to move on to some advice. You know, the Four of Coins sometimes can be something where these things have got us locked down, but it really is it's just like this epiphany when you realize, because that's like, I know you're stronger than whatever vice this is or whatever unresolved issue this is, Cancer, but when it's one thing when you know, but when your actions start matching that too, when it's like the body, the head and the heart line up, then it's like, then we're off to the races. So let's get some advice from Mars. So speaking of speaking of action, let's see what advice Mars has for us. Hopefully some good stuff, considering he was chilling in our sign for the longest. Let's see what we got here, Cancer. Absolutely, Cancer. 9 of Coins all day. Work on yourself. Work on building these blocks back up. You know, we got to, sometimes, this is beautiful. This to me, I love that these ants are building. Because, you know, these unresolved, these baggage issues, they can feel like tower moments. Like little thing when we're letting that stuff go, it can feel heavy. You know, this is almost like, it's like a mix of like a tower and like a death card situation. But the beautiful thing about that little sweet combination is that this is how the 9 of Coins is like you're leveling up to your pre-ep. You've been trying to level up to your pre-empress energy. You're not trying. You're just killing it, Cancer. But Nine of Coins is building yourself back up, taking out the pieces that weren't, that weren't holding this foundation strong, the weak areas, and refining that. In Cancer, that's all life is. It's just like, it's constant tweaks. There are going to be moments where, okay, we got this thing down, and then another thing gets brought to our attention, and then we focus on that. It's constant growth here, but that's what keeps life exciting. That's what keeps us getting up and tackling this thing every day, and it's wonderful, Cancer. So, Nine of Coins. Remember the end game, that this is all going to be Aries, how we're talking about self. This is all going to be for your self-improvement in the long run. It's going to raise your vibration. So Mars is like, why wouldn't we put in that work there, Cancer? All right, Cancer. Last couple here. Beautiful, Cancer. We got the Nine of Cups here, and then we got the Magician. I love that. All right, let's switch back over here, Cancer, because let me tell you why. Because both of these nines, what better way? Because when you start working on yourself, nine of Coins, that starts getting your energy start feeling right again. Then because with the Nine of Cups, because if you're trying to, let's say we've been feeling out of balance and we're trying to attract harmony again, then Nine of Cups, we have to do those things, do harmonious things that raise our vibration, that help us to move on from whatever situations this baggage may be. And with the Magician, this is saying that you have all the tools that you need, Cancer. Everything in your belt to get through this. And if there are some areas that you're feeling that you don't have, maybe hit up a page, hit up a knight, hit up a queen, maybe talk with someone, maybe get some advice for some people. Mercury, the Magician is Mercury. Mercury is a planet of communication, of early learning, all of that. So, be thinking about this stuff, Cancer. What things may be holding us down, and what tools we can either create or work with to get out of this funk. To start really building a stronger foundation for you. So, yeah, Cancer, I like that. You're leveling up. That's all Judgment is about here. And it can be a little tricky sometimes. But Cancer, we're learning. That's the beautiful part of this. Beautiful part of this I can't pick it up. This beautiful part of this long journey that you're on here, Cancer, but I think I'm going to leave that there. So give it a thumbs up, Cancer. Let's, just get the message circulating, and show too that, that other Cancers, we're all trying to figure this thing out, one thing at a time. And sometimes really when we think about the lunar cycles and letting go, it can be a bit of a pain. Sometimes it's just like, gotta get in the mindset. But then you can make it fun. It's just like, right, what's the end game? Nine of Cups, Nine of Coins. I'm getting ready. We're going with Chariot. We're keeping it moving. We're keeping it moving, keeping it growing, keeping it level up. And share this, Cancer, as I'm about to get back in your reading. Share this. Let others know if someone's been carrying around some baggage, got some things that they need to resolve. Let's get them moving. Let's get that Emperor energy. Channel that, Cancer. And then subscribe, hit that bell button. You get notified when I release videos each week. Another tool maybe in your tool belt, Cancer. But, speaking of tools, here's another one, Cancer. I got all kinds of swords for you, Cancer. I've been on this meditation. And this man, talk about helping me through some baggage. I've been on this meditation app for years. It's an insight timer, and I created a group on there called Zodiacs Raising the Vibration. Just a group for positive affirmations, encouraging messages, and even to just talk about your story, talk about maybe some of the things that we might have been working on, the baggage, and how we overcame Cancer, how we rose above and leveled up and really got into our energies here. So, and then as the group grows, definitely wants to, definitely want to start scheduling some like group meditations and who knows what kind of fun stuff. Maybe I'll cook up some ideas with the Queen of Swords. She's next on my list, or one of these queens. But since you had all the queens, yes. Oh, and thinking about that too, Cancer. You had all the queens yesterday. Now we're focusing on Queen of Swords today. This is the energy that we're tapping into this week. Getting an understanding. I love that girl. But all that information, Cancer, is in the description box. And then lastly, check your better understanding. While we're working through these unresolved issues, you get to learn better about yourself. Learn your sun, your moon, your rising. If you want to learn how you talk, look up your Mercury placement too, and then come on over to my other channel, Alchemist 8. I do weekly videos there. They all got different themes. It's a good old time, Cancer. And all that housekeeping down in the description box below. But let me get your surprise cards here, so I can get you out of here and get you started on the next phase of your journey, Cancer. You got the Fool here. I like that. And then while I'm shuffling for your oracle cards, the Fool is that enthusiasm when you know that there is growth to be had. When there's an opportunity for just leveling up and achieving balance. It's remembering that to not let that work that needs to be put in wear you down, because that's exciting. If it weren't for adversities, it'd be hard to, the energies would get stagnant. So look at these challenges as a way that they're pushing you, Cancer. They're helping you to grow. And absolutely, we're I love this. Okay. Someone's going to need a dictionary. Because you got the Mitragynia card. Oh, yeah, I'm going to have to look that up, Cancer. But yeah, this card here, the Mitragynia card, that's what we're going to go with. And this is a card of shape-shifting. And I love that. This ruled by Saturn and by Neptune. And when you think about, because that's exactly what is happening, Cancer. You're changing, you're shifting into something different. Every time that we release some of this baggage, I love this. It's like you see this woman here, and then you have this bigger, their higher self here. I don't know how well you can see this version here. And that's what's happening. When you put in this work, the work that Saturn ask you to put in, and we start getting out of that fantasy that in the sense of that we gotta let this stuff hold us down, just thinking with Neptune, and being mindful of any sort of ways we might have been escaping reality and things, then man, that's how you get into that highest vibration of you, that higher octave of yourself. So Cancer, this is exciting, whenever these opportunities come around here. Just thinking with the Page of Wands, this really represents just for me, the Page of Wands really gives me strong Leo energy, and Leo energy is just all about fun, and we can turn this stuff into fun, Cancer. We gotta work a little bit to find it, but it's totally there. So, all right, Cancer, I think I'm gonna leave that there. I dig that. So, you stay safe out there, just thinking about this stuff. And when we get about baggage and things, it's all part of the journey, Cancer. It's all going to make you just operate from a higher perspective. It's wonderful. And be thinking about the moon, Cancer. Be thinking about how the moon's got your back. Keep eyes on her. Be thinking about, what's next, how we want to grow. And that's what, because, she's always setting us up for these next cycles, Cancer. It's a beautiful tale. And it gives us a chance every time, think about the next time the moon's in Aries, how you came through, how you brought it last time, and how you're going to bring it this next time. And I will catch you on the next one tomorrow.